Hi, I'm F. Scott Key Fitzgerald, and I wrote The Great Gatsby.
What inspired you to write this book?
What inspired me to write this book was the life and culture that was happening during this time. Like there was so much dancing and so much drinking that just seeing all that was something that everyone should see from a different point of view. And I think also what inspired me to write this book was my life experiences.
Did part of your personal life appear in your books?
Yes, a lot of my personal life occurred during my books because that was mainly what I based off my books off. Like things that happened between me and my wife is what happened between Gatsby and Daisy, and other books that I wrote. There has been many events that occurred. Like for Great Gatsby, for instance, how Daisy was the golden girl, Zelda was my golden girl, and because of that, I figured why not just have her as the shining star of most of my books. And um, a lot of things that occurred in my life, such as the wealth that I developed because of my first two books, and a lot of the things that were happening around me were the reasons why I chose to write about it in my books.
Why did you choose to write about the 1920s?
I chose to write about the 1920s because it was, extravagant time for many Americans. We were making a lot of money. People were gambling. People were drinking. There was so much dancing and partying going on. And I wanted people to see it from a different point of view because wealth can never always bring happiness. There's always a catch to it. Like in The Great Gatsby, you'll see that, money doesn't help, and next thing you know, Gatsby dies because of it. And money makes the morals go lower, and people don't really think about what they're doing. So I wrote about the 1920s mainly because I wanted people to see what was happening during that time.
Is there a reason why each character in The Great Gatsby had distinct personality traits?
Yes, each character was different because I wanted the world to see that there's so many different people out there during this time period. Tom represents those who are corrupt and unreliable, and those who just don't think of others, they think of only themselves. Daisy, her traits come from my wife. They both love money, love luxury. They feel at ease when they have all this wealth and comfort, and yet they can't be trusted because they're just not happy with those who give it to them. And then Gatsby, his traits are very distinctive because they represent me in a way. His traits represent my wealth and how hard I work to get Zelda, and like his experiences in the military and everything. Nick represents the reliable side of me. He shows the world that, it comes from me because he's the reliable person in the book. That's why I chose him to be the narrator. And he shows how people can be trustworthy and how he's not biased. He stays neutral, but he tells people how it is and tells the readers how he sees the world and how the characters are acting. Because if I chose somebody else to do that part, then they would be biased and not see things the correct way.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline. I am a senior at MOVA, and I read Gatsby one too many times.
Which character was more relatable for you?
A character that I could relate to was probably Gatsby. Two reasons. He had a lot of money, which he got from bootlegging and smuggling other stuff here, and because he changed his name. I know if I would have done something bad, I would have changed my name also.
How did you feel about Gatsby's hopes and dreams about ending up with Daisy again, and why?
At first, I felt like he deserved to be with her. I wanted him to be with her in the ending, but seeing that he liked her, he kept repeating the same reasons that he liked her. I got kind of tired of it, and after that, I didn't want him to be with her anymore. I just started feeling really bad for him. And now that I think about it, I still feel the same way. I don't want them to be together at all. I'm kind of glad it happened that way.
What is an important symbol from the book, and why?
The most important symbol, and the one I really remembered, was the one of the eyes, the eyes of TJ Alphabet, because it shows that they're the eyes of God. If you think about it, those eyes were watching over everybody and all the crazy stuff they did in the 1920s, which would involve the drinking for the prohibition part, the floppers dancing, and all the other smuggling that was necessary.
If you were giving a choice of being the narrator, would you be biased towards a certain character and why?
Okay, I think I would be biased towards Gatsby a bit. He is the main character. It is called The Great Gatsby. But I think I would focus more on Daisy, maybe because no one knows her side of the story. No one really knows if she still feels the same way about Gatsby, if she would have done the same thing as Gatsby. No one knows her story at all. So I would be more biased towards Daisy. Maybe she wouldn't have gotten with Tom if I was the author. Maybe she would have ended up with Gatsby after all if I was the author.
Do you think every character got what they deserved at the end of the story?
No. Okay, let's start off with Gatsby. Gatsby did not deserve to die for Daisy. This was something she did. With that being mentioned, Daisy should have died instead of Gatsby. Tom should have not stayed with her. I think if Daisy didn't run over Myrtle, Tom would have went with Myrtle. Then Daisy would have been dead and Gatsby would end up being alone anyway. Wolfsheim should have been arrested because, I mean, he could have been caught. Gatsby was already going to get into big problems. I think him and Wolfsheim should have gotten arrested already. And Nick could have got it with Jordan if she didn't get engaged at the end. But she was a little too stubborn and didn't want to get with him because of other problems.